Hey everybody, it's Wolfpack again. Another video. This is going to be a good one for me, anyway. I don't know if how many of you have been following my post on the saga of Huntington, Texas, but it got better, and it's like now it's gotten to the point to where it's reality show shit. I should be getting paid by somebody to create my own damn reality show because it's just now getting it's funner than hell, man. I wish you were here to see it. I wish you guys could actually go through what I go through a day because it's funnier than hell. So let me get right to it. My video is going to be called Lawyers, Guns, Money, and the Freemasons. Yes, lawyers, guns, money, and the Freemasons. And we're going to go through, we're going to find out how in the hell they all hook together. Okay, today I received, well, I'm sorry, let's start from the beginning. Okay, yesterday I had a meeting scheduled around 12:30 with a newspaper reporter. Now I'm not going to try to give this guy's name out real quick and the news organization, and here's the reason why is because the sheriff's department has threatened them with an editorial letter how they're slanted, and then that they are one-sided in the and covering, and they're giving the sheriff's department bad light when basically they're just reporting the truth. So I will put forth the organization and the media that actually coming on it, but I want to make sure it's safe to do so. I want to make sure after the story comes out that it's going to be. I want to give them the opportunity to do their research and actually do the story. So anyway, I advised my attorney that I was going to meet with this individual. I was going to give an interview on the stuff that had been going that went down as a witness to what happened on my two cases. Well, he didn't really like that. He told me I advised against it, and I said, "Well, sir, I don't understand why." He said, "Well, because I don't like." He said, "Because I feel like I'm losing control." Then remember that, losing control. So I decided. Me and my wife agreed to meeting for coffee to discuss the issue, and he had a document that he needed me to sign to be able to do an interview. I know the questions they're unreasonable, okay, and I can go into why, but anyway, this is what happened, and you can make your own determination. He wanted me to sign a piece of paper that basically stated that I had been presented with a plea bargain from the county and that I didn't accept it. Okay. Well, there has been rumor that has gone around between the county and this lawyer going back and forth stating that there was an agreement in process and they were on the terms of an agreement, but nothing has ever been produced. So in other words, what I was being asked to sign was a document saying that I had refused the plea agreement, and he was no longer responsible for any information that came out that I did on an interview because he had presented me with a plea agreement. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this right now. There is no way I have ever set eyes on any plea agreement. None. It has been discussed. I told my lawyer I'm not going to sign anything until I see it in writing. This goes on with the case because all the discovery items that were requested, so-called by my attorney, they had never been produced. There was a tape of the proceedings. My attorney never asked for it and did not receive it from the county. The county said that it didn't even exist, that they taped over it, that the city taped over it or erased it. If you see my previous video, I provided them with one of those copies. I hate to say, but it shocked the shit out of my damn attorney. Reasons we'll go into a little bit later. Anyway, so I got an email this morning stating that he was no longer going to represent me. I went to court today because I was scheduled to go to court. He said, "Well, you don't need to be there." But at this point, I didn't trust anybody, so whenever I say go to court, I go to court and check in. The lady there, she said, "Yo, you're back." I said, "Well, you're not." And she said, "Did your attorney don't give you a call?" I said, "No, he don't talk to me." And matter of fact, I think we've only talked about maybe 5 times in 8 months regarding my case. And then when I ask a question, I don't know. Um, this brings a whole lot of legal questions that I'm sure that you're going through your head right now, and I don't want to go over them one by one because I'll cover that more in detail later. But anyway, I want to get this out. I know many of my viewers are truthers and researchers as well. Many of you, dude, you got to report this shit. Well, I've already on one step ahead of you. I mean, I am going to produce I'm actually going to write and produce a document to the Bar Association, and just let them decide, and give them the information that happened through this whole, since I've hired him, um, to what, if he's guilty or anything. I don't know. I'm not an attorney. I don't know. I don't know if he's done any wrong per the law. I don't know. It's not my job to request it. My job is to come up with just an issue to the bar, to have look at it and say, hey, is this guy doing the up and up? Just because of the manner in which he's done it. This guy's name is Jim Squires. Hope you guys can see that. He's out of Lufkin, but now he's moved to Angelina County. His phone number's still working. He's still got an email there. If you want to let him know what you think about him. I don't recommend him anymore. Many of you saw on my site where I promote his site, because he was my lawyer and he was my attorney, and I wanted to give him some business. It wasn't negotiated in my contract or anything with him that I gave him free publicity. He charged me, and I was in the process of paying him. Matter of fact, it was going to cost me $3,000. He charged me $1,500 up front, and I was supposed to pay him $100 a month till the end of the trial, is what the statement said that I signed from him. Said that he would go all the way through the trial. This didn't happen. So he said that he's going to review all the monies. If he owes me any money, I can guarantee you I'm not going to see any of that. And if I ask him for a bill or a statement showing where he spent the money, I'm not going to get that either. This is Angelina County. There's the law, your guys' law, that you go by in the United States and Texas, but here in Angelina County, you don't have to follow that shit. If you're proving shit, you don't have to do it. Okay, if you go by what they say, not by what they prove with their documents. As case in this scenario, I was supposed to believe the city attorney without even appearing before. I haven't even appeared before a judge, without even going before a judge and say I haven't seen a plea agreement. But however, because I didn't sign this, then here's where it gets ugly. Based on the conversation that I had in the morning when he asked me, when I had emailed him, he called me and asked me what I was doing as far as I was doing the interview. And I told him, I said that I was going to do an interview to get light on the subject, because I believe, and I still believe, that my best course and the only chance that I've got is to actually get it exposed outside of this county. I do not believe today that I can actually get a fair trial in Angelina County. I am already guilty just by association of just being around something that somebody said that was against the law, and because a city manager or a city administrator out of his scope initiated a freaking order for banning somebody from freaking a city meeting, when you can't do, which is against law. You can't ban anybody from a public building. And also the next thing is, you never were escorted out, and they never arrested me for nothing. What they arrested for was a bogus charge of vulgarity. Anyway, that's the other case. So when I told him about this, we went back and said, and then this was another case that came up 3 years later, that I think y'all looked at the video that I showed when I had told everyone what had happened to me during an incident when I called for help from the suicide hotline for my medication, and how I was arrested there. So I think you guys can look at that. If you haven't, guys, please take some time and look at them, and it'll all start making sense. And it's something that's going to be like Big Brother. You're going to want to turn in every freaking day for a new experience. Well, anyway, he was very deterred that he insisted on me signing this document. I didn't know it was on the document at the time. I just showed up with my wife, and then my wife had questions, and I had questions, because the fact is this case was not going anywhere. We were not giving any new information. Discovery, I did not know what he was charging me with. Ladies and gentlemen, to this day, I have never seen a charge sheet. Never. They say they're charging me for resisting arrest, but they don't have anything that I was arrested for. The reason why they were in my house to begin with, because it was a humanitarian mission, and the cops were just supposed to wait for the ambulance, but they ended up busting me in the turn and beating the shit out of me and tasing the crap out of me. I guess here in Texas and Angelina County, that's okay. That's how they enforce the law. I didn't know that then. Duh. So anyway, that's the kind of gist of the case. So anyway, I have not seen that arrest documentation. The booking information that I was supposed that everyone goes through, it has disappeared off the record. They took photos of me in this jail. where I've been tasered 3 times and I had bumps and bruises. I think I'm going over the story again. I don't hate to say it anyway. I got abused and they took record of it. Somehow, there's no record of it now. Those photos have disappeared. There's no booking statement that says what I was booked for. I was there for 20 hours, and for 20 hours, basically, I looked up the definition last night. I was kidnapped. I had no charges against me. So work with me here. How can you be arrested, okay? I mean, in jail for resisting arrest, but you never committed a crime to be arrested? Check up your case law on that, if you will, because you'll find that police can be hell for kidnapping because they've got to have a crime to bring you to jail, and they got to have something to tell the jailer to book him on this. It never happened. So where the story gets really good is the fact is that during this conversation that I have with Mr. Squire, I have, and most of you have seen in my videos, that I am not a very big supporter of the Freemasons. I'm a Christian. I do not believe in their ways. I do not believe in what they believe in, and I do not in any way, shape, form, or fashion condone it. I don't go out and I don't try to tell them what they can and cannot believe. However, the fact is, me personally, in my life, I don't want to have it anywhere around me. This time, my attorney, Mr. Jim Squires, admitted to me, so we may have a problem because you're against Freemasons. I said, yeah. I said, that's my belief. He said, well, I'm a Grand Master of the Freemasons. You may not like that. I said, it doesn't matter what I like or what I dislike. You're my attorney. I don't care if you're a Mason or not. It doesn't matter to me. Represent my case. Do your job. That right there set him thinking, because that put him in a hard position. Because the powers that be that were actually making all this documentation, who supposedly had all of this material for discovery, had not provided him a thing. He was basing this information, telling me that they had it based on word of mouth from one of his Mason buddies at the city attorney's office. There was no paper trail. There was nothing that they had a conversation. There was no emails. There was nothing provided saying that this actually was an agreement. The way it was produced was, well, they're proposing and they're still working on the wording. The reason why, as I've covered before, is because the county didn't want to get hit with something that the city did for a lawsuit. And then they had on the books, they looked at it, they had somebody on there for resisting arrest for 3 years, and they never followed up on it. Just in case you guys want to know, what was the implication of that? Well, they ended up taking me for 20 hours in jail. I spent 20 hours in jail till they finally figured out that that was there. They needed to do a 72-hour hold on me in a medical facility that the actual hotline ordered them to do, to monitor my medication and be able to get in contact with the VA as first thing as possible. However, that didn't happen. It gets on from there, whether resisting arrest or whatever. But anyway, look at my video. So anyway, this is the guy. Okay, so now I've got the Freemasons, admitted Freemason, that I have been vocal about saying about. I've been put out information that from the internet and from other sources that actually what Freemasons are all about. There seemed to be a sore spot. But here's where it gets interesting. At this point in time, he had controlled the entire case. He didn't provide me any proof, any documentation that they had as far as discovery. He did not. I was going off a hearsay from him. So let's just take a step back and let's analyze that. What got him off the ball? He did not want me sharing this story with another newspaper to get it out and expose it. Remember that word that we conjunct with Freemasons and secrets? You know, they're not a secret society, but they're a society that has secrets. Well, then there you go. Because the Mason buddies were working out a deal to where he could get paid, and they could also get less charges for me, but still accomplish the city's message by slapping me on the wrist saying, "Don't do that shit again. We're watching you." That's what it all boils down to. But the attorney got found out because he was in a corner because he couldn't do both. He could not represent two masters. One is that he couldn't fulfill his oath as a lawyer to me, his client, because it interfered with his Masonic principles by exposing his Masonic individuals to what they had considered to be a slam dunk into a situation where it's all hearsay and there's nothing on paper, and that's the way the Masons work. This is what it's all about. Which master you choose to serve. Well, if you're illuminated, then guess what? You're above everybody else, so you serve your brotherhood, fellow Masons. There are penalties if you don't do that. I don't know what they are, but maybe it's just they get around and play with the pee-pees together. I don't know. But this definitely came into play. Now, I don't know. I received an email from Mr. Squires this morning stating that he was withdrawing from my case and the whole 9 yards, and said the conditions because we couldn't get along because I wouldn't do as I was told. I wouldn't listen to him. In other words, I wasn't supposed to ask questions. I was just supposed to follow him. I wasn't supposed to inquire about my case. I was just supposed to believe everything that he said by word of mouth without no documentation. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been charged with a crime, don't you at least know, don't you think that your attorney would have a copy of the arrest record? Don't you think he would actually have the booking statement? Don't you think he would have the photos of where you were abused? Don't you think that he would have been able to call out the attorney and say, that's bullshit, you can't interrupt, you can't arrest somebody for that, for interrupting a meeting? When was he going to call bullshit? I swear to you, if anybody was sitting in my shoes right now, most of you individuals that I talk to on Gab and on YouTube, most of you individuals say, that's bullshit. You know, and I know you guys will put out a video about it. Some would be more pissed than I am, but I'm really not pissed because, see, I kind of had a feeling for a long time this guy was not on the up and up because of so much information he was trying to hide, and he was protecting somebody. I just couldn't figure out what it was. And I found out. Mr. Squires, he would move into Trinity County, I believe, where he is going. I guess he's moving to a house, and he's actually going to teach at Sam Houston State University. He's taking some classes over there, teaching classes, and I wish him all the luck. But I do kind of understand one other thing, though. If you can't do, you teach. You know, so I kind of wonder what principles are being taught at Sam Houston State University Law School. That would give me doubt. But that's just me. What do I know? Not maybe inflame his character. I don't care. I mean, I personally, you know, the guy's okay with me. I mean, I know that he was lying to me, and I know that he didn't give me all the truth. And his good old boy persona went so far. However, the fact is, there's a time whenever you take away the good boy, old boy persona and have to get that ass down and go to work for your client instead of appeasing your Masonic buddies. You can't do both, especially when their oaths contradict. So, as I said, I will actually state out what the events, how they happened, when they happened, and the time and date, and I'll present it to the bar, and they'll see what they say. I'll present it in the form of a complaint because I think that the guy did wrong. I think he's allowing other principles to influence his decision as a lawyer. I don't care if he believes in Mason. That's fine. You just can't practice law and do the same thing at the same time. You can't serve two masters. I hope him the best. Hope he does great. He said that he doesn't imply whether I'm innocent or not. Well, you know what? He doesn't even know if I'm innocent or not because he's never even reviewed any documentation that says I am or I'm not. He's asked for them, and they're going to provide them. Well, I got a trial coming up on the 10th of February. Don't you think this is about time that they should actually put over some discovery? I mean, by now, I mean, it's been 3 years, don't you think? But then again, no, this is Angelina County. This thing stinks to high heaven. And I cannot wait, personally, I cannot wait before this gets to be in front of a judge in Angelina County. Because I guarantee you, as soon as he sees this paperwork and he sees what that's actually being presented to him, in honor of his court, he cannot even allow this thing to actually even open. There will be a closed door session after he dismisses the case, and I guarantee you that city attorney and Mr. Squires will be called in to reprimand on their demeanor and how they handle this case, and it doesn't appear in his courtroom anymore like this. It stops with me. You know, pull that shit, go on, pull it on down the road, down there somewhere else. You don't do it in here with me. Because he doesn't want to be affiliated with it, because the fact is on appeal, this will all come out, and his name will be on it. How far are these attorneys ready to drag down the court to say their fellow brethren? You're willing to drag down a court officer, judge? Seems like it. Well, much to my surprise, I got home and I had learned all this yesterday after. Well, I didn't learn it until this morning, but anyway, that was actually happening behind the scenes. But it's late last night around 8 o'clock. I received an investigation report from an individual who I had actually made a video for. It provided them the documentation and provided them the actual the events that actually happened that night and actually on the day of the day I got my hand spanked. And I asked for their opinion. Basically, you go and ask their opinion if you need to seek a lawyer, if you need whatever you may need to do, or whatever. Well, this report came back, and it actually said that this matter needs to be investigated. It actually stated that there is a possibility of misconduct and serious abuse and brutality on this officer. For the record, this one is investigating Mr. Chad Wilson. There's a subsequent investigation going on to Mr. Powell, who no one can seem to find anymore because he's off the record. I assume, based on people that I know and my sources, which everybody knows, I hate to say sources or whatever, but basically there's individuals that know where he's at. And he is actually required, and there's other cases pending that require his presence, but he's been removed from the public spotlight. No one can track him down. Well, until now. Mr. Squires freely admitted he knows where he's at. So for anybody seeing this, and you want to find Mr. Powell, any private investigator, anybody deemed necessary, Mr. Squires knows where he's at. And I bet you 10 to 1 in a bag of donuts he's a Mason too. Just come on, bro, they protect each other. So anyway, the investigation was not very good, and then actually recommended from a criminal. It actually stated on there that there was a criminal investigator who was authorized and who was qualified, had all the bells and whistles that can actually appear in civil court and also in criminal court. See, they keep trying to move this to civil court when there's been crimes being committed. Why? Because the criminal can't get more justice. Okay? And then more exposure. This is why I asked my friends from Gab, and I asked my guys from Twitter, Facebook, anywhere that you see my videos that I post out. Instead of pressing like, I get a lot of likes. I love that. Thank you guys. Love you too. But if you want to help out the cause, okay, press the repost, because that's going to get my word out. You may not be in a position, or you may not be able to physically help me. I don't want no money or nothing. I'm just saying our support. But what you can do is repost it, so maybe there's somebody that wants to have this information and start getting to the bottom of this shit. And if we work together with this individual, there's only 5 more individuals that are actually doing the same thing. We're all coming together, and we're actually doing what people from Gab and what YouTube has said. We're all sticking together and comparing notes. And guess what? We're coming up with answers that we can't. We're coming up with questions, but we can't seem to get answers. And when we ask a question, we go to jail. I quoted out to the seriousness of this nature. I posted out to Gab because normally on Gab I do get individuals who like it. I can see that I'm actually not talking to an echo chamber. In Twitter, it's a different story. But I'm trying my best to get the message out anywhere that I possibly can. Let me tell you what has been happening. 3-4 nights ago, we had a kid, 16 years old, who is dead. Cause of the fire, cause of the death was blamed on fire. But they said he was blockaded in a house where he committed suicide. Mind you, there is no ballistic evidence. There is no one who's actually said that the officers fired shots. He fired shots. They said he fired once. And that was before the cops got there. So now we got a dilemma. How'd he die? And where's the autopsy? Why can't it be public view? We had a lady who was basically accosted by an officer who pulled up behind her and her kids. She was in her car, and her kids were in a car seat. Pulled up behind her and stopped her, and insisted on putting the bright lights on her, including their flashlight, where she couldn't see. She couldn't see through her rearview mirror who it actually was that was approaching her. In protection of her kids, what she did, she got out, where she was immediately ordered to get back in and sit down. She questioned that because of the fact that she didn't know who the hell it was. He didn't identify himself as an officer. He didn't get back in the car. I don't know about you, but I know a lot of women. You know what? If I got my kids in the car, you got to get through me. And that's what she was trying to do. The details of that are still coming out on how badly he actually did it. However, the fact is that she does have a story going on with the same places, or the same organization that I have. We have an incident here not too long ago too. That the fact is, I think I've told you guys, this man he gets arrested. He's disabled. They tear up his freaking shoulder, and his arm so bad that he can't even move it. And they insist on cuffing him in the back. I can't describe how much pain I got a bad, so I can't describe how much pain that must be when somebody actually puts something behind your back. When you put your arm behind your back and you can't even really move it that way. Try it sometimes if you're hurting somewhere. It hurts. And then once the cop finds out it hurts, then that's what they applied more to get you to submit even more. See, I use the word submit because at what point of the time, because it's just between, is it submitting and then just surviving? Why is it that the Angelina County Police believe, or Huntington Police believe that, you know what, the only way to subdue is contract, put them on conscience? Why is that meant to be? Why do we have attorneys that all of a sudden, when it doesn't go like they want, and they disagree with their client because he's asking questions, and the client asks him point blank, where he gets pissed off, the client, myself and my wife, ask him, where are the items of this? Where's their proof of all of this? Because everyone that I tell that are intelligent on the YouTube or wherever, Gab, Twitter, Facebook, whatever, everybody I tell says, you got to be kidding me. Sure, they got proof of that, and they don't have no proof. Not only is the story just totally ridiculous, but it's also, tell me they got proof of that, and please tell me in the United States this does not go on. The fact of the matter is that anybody in Huntington that speaks out the truth or questions anybody, you will be dealt with on whatever level they deem necessary. It's gone beyond the cops now. We saw another piece of the puzzle. Now we know that our lawyer's involved in it too. To what extent, I don't know. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not meaning to slander, I'm not meaning libel, nothing. But I do think with all the parameters that actually have been involved here, I think that somebody should be investigated. I think somebody higher up in the city attorney's office or the district attorney's office should be investigating and see what, and investigate cases that this kind of stuff is going on. Because this is not the only incident, ladies and gentlemen. This is the only one that got caught on. By believing in a false God that they think is going to protect them from harm from the people who have not been illuminated. This is pretty positive. Now, where do I go from here? Well, I don't have an attorney. I predicted that. Mr. Squires wrote me the letter saying that he was going to withdraw. I told my wife, I said, what took him so damn long? And I'll say this right now. I mean, you know, this is just me being me. But the fact of the matter is, you know what? If I'm going to do something to my client that's paid me $1,500, and I'm going to tell it I'm not going to end the relationship, and we're not going to do business anymore, I'm sorry, but the best way to do it is to tell somebody face to face, or each give them a call. What do you call it when an individual does something like this and he doesn't want to face reality? He doesn't want to face the truth, but he just sends it in an email. Now he can watch the hand be done with it. This is where that secrecy thing comes in, because they don't want to be caught in public. They can't do these things in public because they know people are questioning it. But then again, they're dumb enough to send an email, as we've learned in Chad Wilson's case, also Mr. Squires, and a few other of my posts that I put up. They can't shut up. These individuals are driven by anger. How dare you question them? How dare you say or ask them what is going on in your case that you paid for to get the information? How dare you? You just sit back and do what I tell you. You don't need to know. This goes up to another level. So I swear to you that I'm still on this, because the fact is that every day that goes on in this case and nothing gets done, no information put out, it's all held in secrecy. It just adds on to the fuel of the fact that somebody's going to ask what took so damn long. It's also going to come to play, why are you harassing this individual and who all was in on it? Let's find out, shall we? My next reason why I'm going to be talking to you from in jail. I can't talk to you in jail, but anyway, I'll probably be in jail for them to shut me up. That's the only option they have. Because the fact is they don't understand. The fact is that I don't need, my job doesn't depend on their approval. There's a lot of ways they can't get to me on levels that they know that they can get to other individuals, but they can't get to me. And all the while I told everybody through this whole thing, things may not be as you seem. May just be a not damn dumbass country boy that's walking around thinking he knows all this shit and everything. Maybe. There's other individuals working on the same damn thing. Maybe. Put two and two together. You're going to find all the rats, they all come out. Once you find all the rats, it's up to somebody else to come in and slay them. Mow them up, take them down. Somebody. It's got to draw out those rats. And somebody is always going to take that bait. Lawyers, guns, money, and Freemasons. If you trace those, you're going to find they're all related. A couple of videos I'm coming out with, so I took too long on this one. Anyway, this is breaking because the fact is it's on my mind, and I got all the information. I mean, I got everything going through my head. I got my notes over there, and I'm actually getting ready to go to work. And I spent all day last night I spent hours last night sending out this freaking report. Then also you got these guys here on YouTube, whatever. Show me the report. Okay, go to Huntington, Texas, Facts and Proof. Okay, on Facebook, I have it posted there. Huntington, Texas, Facts and Proof on Facebook. I posted it there, along with other items that go along with this case. You can follow this case as it goes through. Now, if you want to actually sink your teeth into actual corruption going on, this is something that you, or if that's interests you, this is currently going on, and it's actually going on. It's not something that's happened. It's still going on. Any explanations you need, or any documentation you need as far as proof that I have that I'm saying this on live TV, or I'm saying this on my video, if you don't believe, ask me. As a matter of fact, I tell everybody when they ask me about this incident or anything, tell me about Huntington. My answer is, what do you want to know? There's not a day that goes by the Freedom of Information request doesn't come out of my office here. There's not a day don't go by that I ain't asking questions. And there ain't a day goes by if I ain't got the answers, I find out somebody who does. And sometimes it's not the obvious. Sometimes it's the people back in those shadows who are looking or waiting their turn and saying, you know what, it's happening. Because when the clean out happens, Trump already named it. It's called Drain the Swamp. Well, we're only Huntington. We live 2,000 people. I'll tell you what we're doing. We're draining the pond. Okay? We're going to drain the pond. And what it is, ain't no telling what's at the bottom of this, I bet you. Now, stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in. Please repost so I can get some people out here to repost it for me and start asking questions. Huntington, Texas Facts and Proof. Ask me anything you want to know about Huntington or anything you want to know about what I've got on Angelina County. Maybe it might be something you might want to research. Snafu, hey, I said to the video, man, hey, please look at it. Please, it's going on. You got a front row seat, brother. Need your help. Out.